And we are live Wednesday, March 11th. The most wonderful time of the year is upon us. This is 94 Feet of Light basketball for the people, by the people. Jay Ham in the building, Sports 56, Trav in the building. Trav and I are going to be doing a little invasion of Sports 56, probably the Monday after the first two rounds of the NCAA tournament to kind of recap this thing. So we look forward to joining the fellas there and talking. But man, fellas, we here. Conference tournament week. Big program, big conference, small conference. Uh some people playing in a gym that probably ain't much bigger than the high school that you played at. Some folks playing on an LED court. Some people playing 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday. Some people playing 11:30 at night on Wednesday. We here for all of it, man. So what's going on?
Overload.
That's a great way to describe it.
You remember how we felt the Monday after feast week? We were actually like glad to watch football. You talking about an overload on turkey? We went overload for real on everything basketball. We were still watching football. It was just that much credible basketball on at that time of year. It was like, hey, why not? We just indulged so much, and that's what we're about to embark on again. But then we also know we were that was what happened in November. That was conditioning for what we're about to embark on now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like as we are taping this, I'm watching 15 seeded Ole Miss in the SEC tournament look like they on the way to knocking off Texas, which
Mhm.
and I think this is sort of the theme of the weekend, Trav. I don't know how you watch the conference tournament, but here's how I watch my tournament. Because as Ham said, it's overload. You don't know what to watch. So I watch whoever's tournament is the furthest along. So if you in your conference semifinal or final, I'm gonna give you the nod. Or if you a bubble team and you need wins, I'm gonna watch you. So Trav, talk. How do you decide what gets on the main screen?
I do mine in threes. I'm gonna find me major, mid major, popcorn, major, mid major, popcorn. Sometimes it don't be. It be like sometimes it don't be like that. I'm gonna find me. I may have two majors, probably like a Big East or a Big Ten. Then I'm just gonna find something random. I swear to God, I pull up a swag one in a second. I pull up Prairie View and Bethune like I did today. I sure will watch it. I sure will watch it because that's you got to find that small team because they gon' break a bracket. UNC Davis. You, them folks just be like 18 and 18, but they'll just find a way to win a title. That's how they get in these games. That's how they get in this field. So I mean, basketball, man, basketball is basketball, and that's why we do it because we love this game.
So this week, so some of the conference tournaments actually started last weekend, and then it's just been every day. So this, what we're gonna do on this show to make it easier on ourselves, we're gonna focus on the Power Four, the Power Five. Then we're gonna talk about rapid fire some of our favorite conference tournament memories, whether it's from like when you first got into the game or some recent stuff. So I want to start with y'all neck of the woods, and that's the SEC.
Mm.
Ham, I'm gonna start with you. It seems like over the last 2, 3 weeks, Florida has sort of found the next gear. SEC is a deep conference, we know this. So Ham, let me start with you. Is this Florida versus the field, or is there a second or third team who, hey, if Florida's not careful, can catch them this weekend?
For the weekend, I say it's for the field. It's versus the field, but I don't have the same confidence in this Florida team that I had from a year ago. Although I acknowledge that it's a dangerous crew, but their danger more is where I'm convinced that it's on the front line.
Mm.
You got the big fella Ruben Chenalou in the middle, then you got Bill and Ted on the opposite side. Yeah, I prefer that's who the fuck they remind me of. Bill and Ted. Last year they went on an excellent adventure. This year started out as a bogus journey, but then they kind of spent it around, brought it back to where they are. Now they're atop everything in their level. So referring to Hall and Condon, if people that don't know.
Yeah.
But just in that sense, man, and they can get down. The thing, I think collectively a lot of us like Arkansas. But we also know that Arkansas really don't check up.
They don't.
As a unit. And that's kind of a problem, but they can go get buckets with whoever if they checked in and dialed in and ain't on the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? They can rock. But Tennessee like to put you in the bud, but then we don't know what we're gonna get with Native Ben. He might be there, might not. I didn't even checked on the report on him. So it's kind of really, Florida versus the field, but Arkansas could be one of them that catch them on a day.
Trav, go ahead. So, Trav, you are a Kentucky guy, and Kentucky has had a real mixed bag of a season. We'll call it a mixed bag. What's the outlook for Big Blue Nation this weekend?
Make it as far as you can. Make it as far as you can. Survive in advance. They took care of LSU today. They took care of LSU. I think they play Missouri tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, Kentucky got to get stops again. We said this on the show before. Kentucky got to shoot the ball better. They have to defend, and they have to finish the possessions. They have to finish their defensive possessions. When you get the miss, they got to get the rebound. They lit up a lot of offensive boards to Maximilian, whatever his name was, for LSU today. And he's a guard. A lot of offensive rebounds. But again, they have to, in order for them to advance against Missouri, they have to shoot the ball from the outside, Will. They have to defend, and they have to finish defensive possessions.
Yeah. And coming back to Arkansas, I think Arkansas I think Arkansas gonna be about a 4 or a 5 seed on Sunday. And Ham has talked about their struggles on the defensive end, but Arkansas has the one thing that when they play, whoever they play, they got the best player on the floor, whoever they play. Unless you talk about playing a Duke or something like that. Acuff can do it. Acuff got Mike Bibby 1997, Kemba Walker 2011, where I'm the best player on the court. And I get hot and I just carry it. And I think to Ham's point, Arkansas got to show me they can play a little bit of defense. Just a tiny bit. And if they show they can play a tiny bit of defense, they are a dangerous outfit. Speaking of front courts, I want to swing up to my old neck of the woods, the Big Ten. And you talk about Michigan. Michigan with a great front court, Lindenborg, Mara, Johnson. But now they are down 2 guards. And now the question for me, and what I want to see this weekend out of Michigan is going to be, is there a second guard that steps up? Because Elliot Cadeau his game can kind of vary.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. There are games where you like, oh, Elliot Cadeau looked like one of the best guards in the Big Ten. Then his game, Elliot Cadeau looked like, mm. So that's what I want to see out of them. Big Ten tournament, fellas. You got your Michigan States.
I was just about to say that, Big Shot.
Go
Michigan
ahead.
State, Illinois, and Purdue. This is your chance. This is your chance, especially with the backcourt prowess that y'all do provide. With Michigan may have the best, if not the second best point guard in that conference. In Fears, I think he's the best, to be honest. But the others have to play well for them also. Of course,
Yeah.
we know Michigan State gonna be physical. That's one thing they bring to the table. But you got Illinois and Wagler, man. And they can shoot the cup off the rock. They hot, they can shoot the cup off for them. And of course, Braylon Smith at Purdue. If he get everything rocking the way he rocking, Purdue got a shot. But I mean, those three teams got a shot. Me personally, with Michigan banged up the way they are, I go Michigan State.
I think if they run across Michigan State again, it's going to be physical and it's going to go the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
It might get a little personal on a more intense level on the physicality. And not saying dirty either. It might be a cause for a couple of ejections and some separations because
Man, that boy at home, man. That boy at home.
They're saying, but that one, like you said, Big Shot, do they have that other guard? Especially for this time of year, because that's the theme of this time of year.
Always.
You got the quality big man up front, the whole line, and the big shit, the 7-footer, the conference player of the year, and all of that. You got pros up there. But as you said, if Mr. Cadeau, if he's going to be, he can't even. No, mid still may get them beat if he's mid.
Mid, because of the situation they got in the backcourt. If he's mid, they lose. They'll get beat.
He has to legitimately step up at least a level, at least one level above mid.
Yeah.
One thing we know is that you cannot slow out. Like that game that you had against Caleb Foster with Duke, can't happen.
Yeah.
Caleb Foster said he's going to come back too. I don't know how credible quality that is, but he's going to try to push back for the tournament at some point. I'll say this, even after we're not even in the ACC, but 25 years ago, almost around the same point, Carlos Boozer broke his foot too.
Sure did.
Came back Sweet 16. So we'll see. Modern medicine is quite advancements in 25 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we just saw Jason Tatum come back with 10 months from a torn Achilles. So,
amazing.
I think if you look at the Big Ten, a lot of these Power 5 schools, you're looking for middle of the pack teams who can get hot. Because when you talk about teams on the bubble, that's the thing you're afraid of. If you are VCU, SMU, UCF, Oklahoma, Auburn, you need things to hold serve in these Power 5 conferences. You can't have somebody winning the tournament that ain't supposed to win it, because then your bid is gone. Swing it down to the ACC. I think for Duke just has to stay in one piece. You got Caleb Foster, the big fella, and you've got injury problems. Duke for me is a Final Four team. We'll talk about this next week on the extended show. If Duke is in all together and whole, I think they comfortably. I'm not saying comfortably because it's the NCAA.
Yeah,
but I think they're strong favorites for the Final Four. to win the whole thing if they're together.
Dude, it's Duke, man. It's Duke. It's Duke. Duke been what? Duke ain't been lower than number four seed all year long, correct?
Duke has pretty much stayed in the top 5 all year. They
And
haven't really
and,
ventured outside
and
the top.
yeah, so I mean, with that being said, man, in the ACC, that's really Duke versus the field. That's Duke versus the field, in my opinion.
You look at the ACC. Obviously, North Carolina, Caleb Wilson out for the season.
Yeah.
Uh, so now you got your next set. You got your Virginias. You got North Carolina State.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you got teams that need to win, like SMU. So you got but I think that is probably the closest versus the field of the Power Fives is ACC. I just think if Duke is all together, I don't see why they don't win it.
Just like any other tournament, though. One bad day.
Just take
If bad enough against the right opponent. Because you got to think about it. They didn't see Miami in the ring. They might see Miami weekend, the matchup that they hadn't seen, but for them just as a squad to beat 11 ranked teams on the schedule this year. And they all 11 that they beat, all still ranked.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't like they beat motherfuckers and fell off. They were 15 in now. They 55 in Ken Palm. No, it ain't none of that activity. All of them still ranked 25.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All tough schedule.
Now, you look at the Big 12. Again, we talk about the war of attrition in the Big 12. You've had Richie Saunders go down. You've had Toppin go down. You've had some injuries. You've had Darren Peterson sort of in and out of the lineup. For me in the Big 12, Arizona to me is the toughest team in America. Just far as just the physical toughness, the mental toughness. I want to see does Arizona continue that. But what I'm really looking at in the Big 12, fellas, is going to be Houston. Can Houston find a second and third score? Houston has kind of really played defense has been Houston's calling card for the last few years since Kelvin got there.
Mm-hmm.
Houston finds somebody else to score the ball other than Kingston Flemings consistently. And then I think with Kansas, it's just the age-old question of Darren Peterson.
That's what
how many minutes are you gonna get out of Darren Peterson tonight?
So he just got to stay healthy. We want to see this man put in work. We want to see why he is him. He done showed flashes. He done everything that he can do. All we want to do is see this man stay healthy. I really think if he stays healthy, Kansas can take that Big 12.
Yeah. Is how much can you give us? Can he give us 30 minutes?
Good question. I mean, and it's viable going into this tournament too, because you still got teams that they're trying to secure the best seeding possible, right? So they can get be as close to the crib as possible. Advantages, take advantage of all that they need to take advantage of, but it's still a lot to play for. But the formula is the formula. You know what I'm saying? Your guards got to be up on it. You got to execute throughout, especially in late game. You got to make free throws.
Bingo.
And And when you talk about with that, and if you look at Kansas, this is the weird thing about Kansas. The biggest question marks of Kansas is the best player.
Yeah.
Ricky Council Jr. Solid.
Oh my God, he hoop.
Solid. Big Flory.
Yeah,
Solid.
no questions about them whatsoever.
Player 2 through 7 is straight.
The
With Kansas.
supporting cast is good.
The support cast,
It's the main character.
It's the main guy. It's the main guy. And then Texas Tech, I like Texas. I thought the Toppin injury was really going to really hurt them. No pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Tech has played really well since that time. They've played really well since that time. They've changed how they play a little bit, take a little bit more threes. Iowa State is a really good offense, but just like with Arkansas, like, are y'all going to check up at any point?
They one of those that if you get them in like a back and forth scoring deal with them, watch your back because they can fuck around and beat you like that.
Yeah, they beat you like that. And then we go to the Big East. I said Duke versus the field in the ACC. The Big East is definitely UConn versus UConn. The last two is smacked St. John's. They smacked Villanova. They lost last week, but UConn to me is they kind of picking up that 2020 where they were at 2024, where they just kind of let down the stretch, like Florida. They just kind of have down the stretch been really, really good, and I don't see anybody in the Big East do anything with them.
Them in Florida pretty much playing for their fourth one, which they beat Florida early in the year.
They did.
Yeah.
Got the best schedule, you know what I'm saying, in terms of quality wins, quad one wins, and the whole shit like that. So Florida's kind of pretty much jumped ahead of them in terms of getting that one. We'll see how the weekend plays out. Then they might even be 1 or 2 in the same region. Who knows, you know? So might get a chance to see it again.
And then you got some of the other tournaments this weekend. You know, this is, you know, my man Jay Ham has a very particular taste with his basketball. Like, he don't really like, you know, he don't really like, he's open-minded, but if he don't like it, he's like, yo, I don't like that.
Well, if I'm not entertained, I'm not going to stick around.
He ain't going to stick around. Trav and I, over the past 3 to 4 years, in our group chat, like, yo, Ham, just get his one big stuff a try. give it a go. I haven't turned him all the way to it, but I got just far enough.
Yeah, I'm with it. See, that's the fun part about that is that I probably would just more switch over to. I would actually probably watch a women's tournament before I would watch that. That's just me though. But also at the same time, I kind of graduated to like, hey man, you know, I don't really give a shit no more. If it's basketball, put this shit on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever, because I'm gonna get a kick out of it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Just for the standpoint, I'm gonna discover something new, somebody new. Remember one dude and probably never see this dude again. Give example. Not so much on the mid-major level, but then so much at the time. Y'all remember when Seth Greenberg was in South Florida?
Yes.
He was like late 90s.
Like about 97, 96.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Seth Greenberg never been to an NCAA tournament as a head coach, first of all. Let's get that understood. Right. You see him on TV all the time, breaking the game down, doing well. He's never had a team in the NCAA tournament. I may be wrong, but I don't think he has. He had 2 dudes that played with him at South Florida that we never saw in the tournament. I never saw them other than in Conference USA play. Altron Jackson and B.B. Walden, and I'll never forget them dudes because they was hoopers.
I remember them 2 names.
They never could get anywhere for it. So it's like, that's just the hoop head in me. I remember them dudes for like well over almost 30 years ago. But we never saw him nowhere else other than
Never.
in Conference USA play.
And that leads me to like some of our favorite like conference tournament memories. And I just throw out a couple. To me, we don't really do greatest with 1995, man. That ACC tournament. Randolph Childress was the best player in the world.
One of my best. That's my best big shot.
Go ahead,
That's
Trey.
my best big shot, man. He went on a not a streak. He went on a killing spree.
Man.
Whoever was in front of him, they was getting killed. He was putting up 30s easy. I'm talking about May McGinnis looked like a little boy out there.
107 points in 3 days.
3 days. They ended up winning. I'm talking about that Wake Forest team was there.
That was young Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan, exactly. That's how I'm like, this young fella right here, and I'm a guard. But Randolph made me watch it.
Randolph.
he did exactly what I wanted him to do.
Randolph was in that mode where he's like, I'm surprised when you miss.
Yeah. Yeah. It was him, and I want to say, was that a young Tony Rutland too?
Yeah, might have been. Yeah. Ham, well, give me one of your favorite conference tournament memories.
Well, that's a lot.
It's just a lot. Just pick anyone you want.
Yeah, you gotta think about it. Like, we've been watching hoops like that for 5 decades. And so it's so many that kind of span back. But check this out though. I'm in the studio one day, get ready to go to the crib. Shout out to my guy, the OG, Brett Norsworthy, co-host of Sports Time on Sports 56 from 3 to 6 every day after got the afternoon drive. Super OG dude. Arkansas grad, but he does everything with Ole Miss. Y'all think I'm a historian? Brett, come on in, sit down, man. Me and Brett talked about old conference tournament, Metro conference tournaments.
Oh, Metro Conference.
Brett gave me so many stories the other day. We didn't got time to share them here. It's just taking you back to those. You could go on YouTube and find some of those old Memphis State, Louisville conference tournaments, or just even regular season games, because they had a Duke Carolina type thing where they were always playing at the end of the season. End of February, 1st of March to end the season. Then they go to the conference tournament right after that and probably meet the next weekend.
Right.
Whether the tournament was in the Coliseum or was it Freedom Hall or wherever the case what it was. But just the stories that dude gave me that day, I was in the studio an extra hour and a half listening to that. Just go on YouTube and pull some of those memories up on those. And of course, any Big East tournament memories. Any 80s, 90s, 2000s, before the OG Big East dissolved. Before they dissolved and reincarnated to what they are now. We talking about when Syracuse was still there, Boston College, Pittsburgh.
Georgetown, Connecticut.
It was the 08 title game with Pittsburgh and Georgetown. And Pittsburgh had LaVance Fields, Sam Young.
Did you see the entrance? Did you see their entrance?
Yeah,
I posted it.
Starting lineup. I saw that joint on Facebook today. I was like, "Ooh, that's back right there."
The Big East tournament is a show by itself.
It's the best historically. It's the best conference tournament about.
It's the best setting. It's the best setting.
Talk about Kemba Walker in 2011. You could talk about Jerry McNamara. I think that was 06 or 07, whichever year it was.
It was 06.
That was the year, just the 7 OT game. But like
that was 09.
Okay, that was 09. Whatever year it was, he didn't sit. He played every minute of every game of the tournament. Didn't sit.
Cover out there.
We could talk about the Ray Allen, the Connecticut versus Georgetown '96, Iverson versus Ray.
They're running shot right out of here, man.
Brad
Oh
will
God.
remember this. 94 in the Pyramid, Kentucky, Arkansas.
Yes, Lord.
And
Yes, Lord.
this was a semifinal.
Yes, Lord.
This was,
Yeah, that was when the SEC had kind of first expanded. You're right.
this is the year Arkansas won it all, but Kentucky won that day.
Will Kentucky run today?
Because, Trev, if you remember, the night before the ice storm back in 94, that Kentucky Arkansas game came, they put a Wednesday night Jefferson Pilot Raycom game on here, Big Shot. This was not on ESPN. This was on Channel 30. Local channels was like nationally syndicated activity right here. We got Jefferson Pilot game on Tuesday night. It was that major. And then they playing again in the Pyramid in Memphis in the SEC tournament. And Kentucky got them there.
Kentucky got
but Arkansas beat them in Rupp. And then saw them about a month or so later in the Pyramid.
I don't even, if 1994, the names that played in that one, man.
I'm gonna tell you this, Big Shot. It's 3 settings of basketball that I wish they never. Well, one of them never moved, but the other 2, I wish they didn't do it. Of course, the Madison Square Garden, Big East.
Of course.
No better setting than that. That ACC need to come back to Greensboro.
Yep.
It need to come back.
Yep.
And the SEC, say that again? Greensboro. And that SEC tournament in that Georgia Dome, I don't care if the roof fall down.
And the roof literally fell off the one.
It fell out. It fell out. They had to cancel the game.
And
But
that
it's just the setting about it. It's the setting. It's the ambiance. It's everything about it that screams conference tournament.
That was Sunday out of games. And Georgia won like 4 games in 4 days and made the tournament.
Yeah. Sunday out of game.
Sunday out of games, man.
And I got one more. My last one of my favorites is 2016 SEC tournament.
Okay.
That tournament showed the best player in probably the nation at that time was under 5'8". Tyler Eulis swept every freaking award that year. He got the Bob Cousy Award, which is the best point guard in the nation. He won the SEC Player of the Year, and he won the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, and he was the MVP of the SEC tournament.
Yeah, Tyler,
he went on
he was incredible. Tyler was incredible.
You know, we had an underrated, like, dope old school conference tournament, though.
Oh, there.
Old West joints when Van Horn was still playing in Utah.
Oh, Utah. Yeah.
Utah.
They used to have some great tournaments back then.
Oh,
I remember
man.
Van Horn caught one. He caught a game winner. He caught the joint way back here, brought it up. They put the joint in at the horn. I was like, damn.
To this day, Mountain West, the Atlantic 10.
Yeah, 18.
What's the other joint? Mountain West, A10.
WCC and the WCC.
American, Mid-American, the MAC. Like, those are like 3 of my favorite tournaments every year. Because it's mid-major hoops. These are teams that's like, they could win a game or 2, but it's always competitive. Those are like 3 of my favorite.
Yeah, y'all put me on the American East tournament. I mean, watching Niagara and Canisius and
hey, when you a real hoop head like we are, Saturday is a day. Conference championship Saturday. Even if it's nice outside, you're like, I'm not gonna even leave the house.
I ain't leaving the house. That's Saturday and that's Sunday. That's Sunday.
You said what, Hal?
The 10 a.m. championship game on Saturday. That's the
Damn,
one.
they don't know about the American East at 10 a.m. They don't
Man,
know about it.
That's the one that they said in they said in Lemon Heads and Cherry Clans and that jam 50 cent a box.
On campus site. We ain't playing no neutral play on campus. 10 in the morning. Let's get it.
They got a
10 in the
real
morning.
stand. Not food vendors, a concession stand.
Dang.
real.
Bleachers. Popcorn machine. The back wall with the State Farm
The
agent
State
advertising on
Farm
the
banner
side.
got to be there, man.
Banners and everything in that joint.
Come on,
Them
man.
the joints right there.
That's why we watch. That's why we watch them those games, man. It's the settings.
Let me tell y'all. This is why, man, we say 94 feet of life and like it's
But we
for
not
real. You're not playing. 2021, the year after the tournament got canceled. So 2021, the joint comes back. Me, Ham, Trav, last Germ was in and out. No lie. Got on a Zoom call. Let's just call it about 5 or 6 Central Time. And stayed on this call with like bathroom breaks and food breaks till like 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
Continuously. Conference championship Saturday and watched all that shit.
All of it.
It
All
was
of it.
wild. It was unbelievable.
There was a get back for having an entire tournament canceled on us the prior year.
Dude.
Right. The entire tournament got canceled 2020. So we finna soak up all of this. We watched all of it. We watched the Southland, the Big West, the
We
West.
watching. We was, dude.
Y'all put me on to the conference tournaments, but then I was watching first 4 games though.
Now, I will say this. And then we gonna roll up out of here. That's the thing I gotta get on to that Ham has told me about. He's like, Ron, you gotta watch the first 4. It's part of the tournament. I'll be like, nah, man, this ain't part of the
You gotta add it to the tradition, man. You do every man.
But those 11-11s, like put that one on. That one might be pretty interesting, 16,
Right.
I feel,
Right. It'd be like the 11-11. It'd be like the 8th place team in the Big Ten versus like the 2nd place team in the 8th year.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Hey, man. And speaking of the first 4, our tournament preview show will be on during the first 4.
Yeah.
Because next Wednesday night, we will be here 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. I'm telling y'all, we've been going.
Game too.
It'll be somebody will be playing while we doing the show.
It's gonna be that game too. That the 16 will always play first.
Hey, the 16 played during rush hour.
Man, that's 4:30, 5 o'clock Central.
Hey man, shout out in advance to whoever win the MEAC and whoever in the SWAC, because you playing on Wednesday.
You playing in the field of 68, and you on the 68 part.
Now, what channel is True TV? We go through this every year with True TV. True TV has stepped up. They tried to provide more sports coverage. They've given us Unrivaled. They give you AEW on the simulcast, Big 10, Big 12 basketball, not Big 10, but Big East. They try to help us out and condition themselves to use True TV.
Hey.
That way, when you get the ball, you're like, what channel is True TV? No.
Dude, let me tell you something. The best thing that ever happened to the NCAA tournament was the 4-channel all-day multi-coverage.
Yes.
That's the best thing that's ever happened, because Lord knows I was struggling to find True TV on Wednesday night every year.
Dude, the thing about it is they was doing the multi coverage before TVs had multi coverage. So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The multi-channel and the split screen changed all this.
Mm-hmm.
Because Oh, us guys like me, Jay, and Trav remember that 5 p.m. news break on the first day of the tournament. That 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. news break every time.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to get my fried rice and egg rolls around that time, man, because I already know what time to come back.
How to get back in, man. Got to get back in.
But then,
Right.
hey, also, one more other hack.
Go ahead.
If you like me, because like y'all said, y'all decide on how y'all watch games, man. Look, I got 4 screens working around this joint. You got the TV, I got a laptop and 2 tablets. We got Wi-Fi. We find up everything. If it's
Oh,
active and available, it's up. With the March Madness app that's going to be available for the tournament, you ain't got to miss none of that action no way. And here's the trick. You only really need 3. They only going to run at certain times because they got to have the viewers. The first game on Thursday will start at 11:10. The second one is going to kick off about 10 minutes after when they get to about the halfway point of the first half. The second game going to tip off. So by the time that second game get to
oh yeah,
the
they got it down.
halfway point, these folks will be at halftime. Then they
Look,
started. It's like they started up at every 10-minute mark,
listen,
and it's only going to be 3 rolling at the same time. So you're in good shape.
they've got it to the point where they like, you gonna turn this TV on 11 a.m. Central,
Yeah.
and you ain't turning this bad boy off till about 11:30 at night.
Yeah, you finna get a 12-hour run out of that. And that's Thursday and Friday. Now Saturday they're gonna extend you out a little bit because they ain't got as much to
You
clamor
got
in.
it.
But it's still gonna be a long ride.
But Ham, but now we got that Saturday is usually the second day of the ladies' first round. You still got 12 hours to go.
See this again. This is us. We are basketball heads, and you're talking championship time for both sides, men and women. This is what we do.
Yep. So when the guys are on a break, you gonna get Ole Miss versus the MAC champion in the women at
And
2
if
o'clock in the afternoon.
old Miss women on TV, I'm watching Cody McMahon. She going for about 25.
That's a whole nother story. So look, next Thursday, we gonna have the full boat next Wednesday, next Wednesday, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, the full boat tournament preview. We will probably be on about an hour, so make sure you got your coffee and you had a nap. We're gonna break down all the brackets. Selection Sunday coming up. Hopefully, Coach MJ, Coach Les, and maybe our main man G2 will be able to stop by. Hey, Ham, do him a favor. See what friend of the program Johnny Harden got going on Wednesday night. See if he wanna. If
get him tap in on that, because you know what I'm saying. They'll probably be a good.
I know he gonna come. Johnny owed me $50 still.
Hey, you know what? You gonna get that too, Trav.
Trav, say you gonna tell Johnny you want your restitution.
We got hard house.
I helped him with a bracket on a couple of picks, and he got it. And if y'all go back through the history, man, Oral Roberts shattered some programs that I told y'all that was gonna happen. There's going to be some picks like this, so get ready for it.
He gonna have to give you your money too, Trey, because you don't drink Tito's and you don't mess with none of that from Cole's dispensary. You had to pay Trav, put Trav money in his hand. You know what I'm saying? And just let that be. But no, he might come through for that because we've been working and doing this little stuff for Harden House and the whole deal. But he might be like, you know what, man, I need to jump on there and get on there with y'all.
Whatever, him, side note, he and G2 busy men. He ain't got to be on for the whole time. He just drop in for a segment, drop a couple picks, whatever he can do.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 Central.
He probably gonna want to rock the whole way with us because he gonna want to pick the break.
That's fine. Mm-hmm. So 9 Central, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Next Wednesday, the full tournament preview. Trav, Ham, me, hopefully G2, MJ, Coach Les, maybe Johnny Harden. We had a whole crew. Get your brackets printed out. It's that time of year. Basketball for the people, by the people. Enjoy the games. Signing out.